Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about nth metal. I know a lot of people in the comments of the videos ask about nth metal and how to farm for it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to tell you how I farm it. We have about 8,300 nth metal, which is quite a bit. I mean, we could do quite a few legendary pieces with this much nth metal. And there are obviously better places to get it than others. And there's not too many exact sciences behind getting as much as I do have or other people have. But I'm going to show you the best ways, at least the best ways that I know how to get it. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure you show your support. Hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, consider subbing. Tons of Gotham Knight content. Anyways, let's get into it. Also, by the way, in the comments, if you have your own technique or maybe different ways that I do not mention in this video, please let everybody know, because obviously, you know, giving more people more information and the more ways to farm things, I think that is certainly the best way to go about it. Either way, first thing we're going to talk about is in the contacts, and that's going to be Penguin. This is almost your only guaranteed way to farm something. Now, it's not a very efficient way to farm it. I will have to say that, because of the fact that even though he gives you materials, which aren't important, he gives you XP, really not important. The nth metal that he does give is only 20, which is obviously not a lot. You can do it all the time, as much as you possibly want to do it. So you can do it over and over and over and over again every single night you're out. But you only get 20 each. So even though it's guaranteed and even though you know where to get it, it's not very efficient. Now, the most efficient way, well, at least the most bang for your buck in the time frame that you're going to be spending and doing things, is going to be the criminal activities, and more specifically, the very high criminal activities. Now, not every single very high criminal activity you're going to want to attempt. And I'm going to show you which ones you do want to do and which ones you don't want to do. But one of the things that are going to spawn sometimes in these very high criminal activities, like a lot of people know, is the Gotham's Most Wanted. And that is a list of criminals that are obviously most wanted. And these criminals are going to spawn nth metal or give you nth metal as a reward when you defeat them. Now, since I've been keeping track, I have actually found out that the number of nth metal that you receive from Gotham's Most Wanted has been different every time since I've been keeping track. I've had it as few as 252, which again is way more than 20 from the Penguin, and as high as 630 nth metal received from completing Gotham's Most Wanted. Now, the only problem is that Gotham's Most Wanted does not spawn on every single very high difficulty criminal activity. There are some specific ones that I would certainly target and ones that I would certainly avoid. But as far as Gotham's Most Wanted itself, it has to be very high difficulty. And if it's not, then it's not going to spawn any of the Gotham's Most Wanted, and you won't be able to get that nth metal. Now, one question I do have, and especially that I do have for everybody else, is that I have never been able to get Gotham's Most Wanted to spawn more than once, at least with the name above it. Now, I believe I am getting Gotham's Most Wanted to spawn. It's just not counting as Gotham's Most Wanted. You still get nth metal for it, which we will talk about here in just a minute. But as far as Gotham's Most Wanted itself, you will see on the top right of the screen when you come, or top left of the screen, when you come to the criminal activity, it's going to say Gotham's Most Wanted. You beat it. You beat the Gotham Most Wanted with the name, and it's going to give you nth metal as the reward. Now, if you do a very high difficulty criminal activity, and when you get there, at least to this criminal activity, and a Gotham's Most Wanted does not spawn, don't worry about it. Don't sweat the fact that it didn't spawn, because you don't have to get it to spawn in order for you to get nth metal. There are specific enemies that do grant you nth metal without them being Gotham's Most Wanted. Now the question is it Gotham's Most Wanted but doesn't show it on the name? Because one of these, for example, grenaders, the guy that shoots out those grenades, he has a mask, has a chain on, and shoots off all these grenades through the mob. This one is through the mob, I believe. And him specifically, even though it doesn't say Gotham's Most Wanted, him specifically, that guy he has a gray suit on, yellow mask, grenade launcher, chain guy, the one right there that was stunned, he gives you nth metal every single time. I think every single time since I've been keeping track. If he spawns there, or at least he has the chance to give it, even though it doesn't say Gotham's Most Wanted. There are other characters, or other enemies in other factions that appear to also give you nth metal, even though that they don't say Gotham's Most Wanted. Now, this guy with the grenade thing looks just like Sebastian. Sebastian's Gotham's Most Wanted. Interesting thing is that I actually completed this one before the one I showed earlier with Sebastian. So I finished this one. I got nth metal. It didn't show Sebastian. Then I went to my next one, and then it had Sebastian there. So I don't even know if it's the same enemy. But either way, even if it doesn't show, point of it is even if they don't show that it's Gotham's Most Wanted, you're still going to want to do it because some of those enemies do spawn nth metal. So looking at the map, you're going to want to focus on specific activities and obviously going to want to stay away from some of them. One of them being crime scene investigator. That's never going to spawn very high anyway because it's just crime scene investigator, but there's no point in doing that. You're also not going to want to do the bomb threat. Even though that could spawn very high. I have never, in all the bomb threats I've done, even at very high, I've tested it, I don't even know how many times. I have never seen any of the characters that give nth metal, any of the enemies that give nth metal. I could be wrong, but I've never seen any that give nth metal, and I've never seen a Gotham's Most Wanted at a bomb site. And it's the same exact thing with the organ trafficking. Organ trafficking is the same thing. I have never seen a enemy that has spawned nth metal or a Gotham's Most Wanted at organ trafficking. So I would stay away from that. I would stay away from bomb threat as well. Stay away from crime scene investigator. Now, another thing that I've noticed, and I don't have a crazy amount of data on this, but every time I go out, I do all very high difficulty activities, no matter what the rewards are. But I have noticed that some of the very high activities, the rewards for completing them don't give me gear, nor do they really give me any crafting materials. This one right here, it's the mob. It's one single piece of crafting material. I have found out, at least through what I've done so far, is that those activities that don't give me any rewards never spawn Gotham's Most Wanted and has never given me any of the guys that I need to defeat in order to get nth metal. Not saying it wouldn't happen because I don't know that for a fact, but even though I'm going to do it anyway, it's just something that I've noticed is that I don't have very good success on ones like that. And so just keep that in mind when you're doing it. Like I said, I would still do it. And the faction that actually seems to give the most as far as non-Gotham's Most Wanted has been the mob. The mob seems to spawn that grenade launcher guy quite often. And so I would certainly go after all the mob for sure. I would do all very hard anyway. But the mob is definitely the one that spawns the most of that. And the regulators seem to be the one that spawn the most Gotham's Most Wanted, at least for me anyway. All factions have the Gotham's Most Wanted, and all factions have enemies that give you nth metal that aren't Gotham's Most Wanted. But that's just what I've noticed so far. Don't really know if this matters to anybody or not. It really doesn't matter to me because, like I said, I farm all very highs no matter what. But in case you're curious which Gotham's Most Wanted go with what, just look at the uncommon piece of crafting material right here. You see the, you know, I don't know what you call it, but you look at the green one, you see what it is, and match up that green one with your rewards on the activity. And so this guy's the mob. That little green crafting material right there, that's the mob's crafting material. And so all mobs have the chance to spawn that particular guy. That one is the regulators, I think. I think that's the regulators, those little matchsticks looking things. And so they'll spawn that. And then the other one, no, that one is the regulators, and this one is the other one. Either way, you get my point, I hope. Just match up the green symbol with the one on the map and then with the whatever activity it is, and that's going to tell you which one that it is. So that little symbol right there, the green one, is for the regulators. And so if this was very high, then that's your chance for those Gotham's Most Wanted. Last thing, every single night, I pretty much do 12, get to 12 on the clue meter. And those little magnifying glasses that you get by defeating enemies. And that's going to reveal premeditated crimes. Now, all of these crimes do pop up, not always 12 of them. But what I actually found is that if you look to the right, criminal activity, you see the exclamation point. The exclamation point is premeditated crimes. Those are the ones that you know are taking place. Sometimes what pops up is the little triangle with the question mark in it, in which you, I don't know, like a non-premeditated crime or a crime that you don't necessarily know about. I have actually found that the ones that drop with the triangle and the question mark actually spawn those enemies that give nth metal fairly often. And what feels like close to 50% of the time, when they're very hard. When they're very hard, that question mark, they seem to spawn a lot, and you get those nth metal as rewards. But the only problem is that every single time I have gotten 12 on the clue meter, I have never gotten that triangle with the question mark to spawn. It's only when I don't get 12, and then I search around the city for interrogations and doing things like that, that the question mark pops up. And so keep an eye out for that. If you see the question mark, that means it's like still a premeditated crime, but you don't know about it. But if it says very hard for whatever reason, at least half of the time I'm getting nth metal from that, and not from a Gotham's Most Wanted, just from a random enemy. And going back to Gotham's Most Wanted, the mob Sebastian was the highest one that I found at 630 nth metal. And then high score was the lowest out of the ones that I've done since I've been keeping track at 252. So let me know in the comments. All the other ones have been in the middle. Let me know in the comments, if you have been keeping track of your nth metal, or if you have any other suggestions for anybody, please let everybody know in the comments. But that's how I do it. And that's how I got, how much did I got? 8,290 nth metal. It's not by farming. It's not by farming Penguin. It's by getting 12 clues on the clue meter and then doing all the very hards and then coming back. And that's it. That's pretty much it. I mean, when it comes down to it, just do all the very hards and you will get 8,290 in no problem. I probably get at least 2,000 a day. Easy by doing just very hard. That's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you did enjoy. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. I will see y'all next time. We're out. Peace.